What up, my God-loving patriots? Welcome back. People that love this amazing country of ours and everything we've done, and we're rad. We're fucking sick, dude.
Cannot wait.
Yeah. It's nothing's ever happened that would make you question that, right?
If you just came from the previous episode, just forget about the inspiration behind God.
I mean, look, I don't want to get into like third episode stuff, but really, like, yeah. You want to blame America for like Godzilla and like radiation and like Koji? Yeah, sure. But you know what solved it? A shotgun. American ingenuity, baby.
A rifle.
Bring it full circle.
Oh,
yeah.
My God.
Yeah. 2A.
America.
Fucking A. Yeah. So this episode, as we alluded to last episode, is on the Monument Mythos, and the Monument Mythos is a analog horror series created by the artist now known as Manticore, spelled by subbing out the A and E for a 4 and 3 respectively. Some M4T Core 3. Formerly Mr. Manticore. The creator is Yves Casanas. And the Monument Mythos is only one of Manticore's many series. Yves Casanas transitioned while making the Monument Mythos, so earlier entries feature her dead name in the credits, just to clarify, because I did see some confusion in the comment section about the videos. So Yves Casanas is the creator. Eve is very prolific with 5 analog series on her page, but the Monument Mythos is the one that started it all, right? With parts released over 3 years from 2020 to 2023. So let's get into it. Spoilers ahead for the Monument Mythos. If you want to take 3 hours and watch it, then rush back, go ahead, but then you'll probably just, you need to skip the next 20 minutes or whatever. This episode pretty much. Just come back for the next episode if you want to skip it, whatever. Then basically just going to recap it. But you might as well just stay. Listen to the podcast. It's quicker. It'll save you some time.
3 hours or 1 hour, huh?
3 hours or probably not even an hour, honestly. Like if you want to watch a PowerPoint presentation, you can go do that. But you can also just listen to me. So let's get into part one. Part 1, episode 1, Corner Folk. This first video at first doesn't seem to fit with the monumental themes of the series, but it does set up a through line. It sets up kind of some important stuff in the series, right? So the video establishes that there are multiple dimensions, much like our universe, right? We got 1 dimension, 2 dimension, red dimension, blue dimension, right? And this checks out so far, right? Same as our shit. And then we learned that there are these creatures called corner folk that are able to pass between dimensions at the points where 2 dimensions meet, right? The corner folk appear almost kind of jellyfish-like, and in addition to the description, we see them on film popping in and out of our dimension, or the 3rd dimension, fittingly enough, in the corner of rooms, right? The planes are intersecting. So there's some speculation about how the corner folk move across dimensions and the purpose of their interdimensional travel. And the video also features a personal journey as the narrator's life seemingly falls apart as they become increasingly obsessed with the corner folk and interdimensional travel. It's implied that the narrator of the video, Riley Tillon, attempted to cross dimensions and had their guts folded up, but that they somehow survived and then became obsessed with origami. Their guts were all folded up across different planes, so it's like, they tried to go into the corner, but they weren't. They ain't built right. They ain't built like the corner folk. Well, moving on, we are into the kind of theme, the monuments of the titular monuments here. Episode 2 is titled The Liberty Lurker and features a recording of the designer of the Statue of Liberty discussing the difficulties in constructing the pedestal for the statue, which is much larger and more complex than the statue itself. We see a schematic of the statue full of strange mechanisms, and we hear accounts that Ellis Island and Liberty Island smelled like absolute shit in the past, which also tracks. And then the idea that, maybe new arrivals to the country were being led into the pedestal and then never seen again. So something was going on there. The video closes with tantalizing footage of the Liberty Lurker, which makes a quick little pop out of the pedestal as the Statue of Liberty kind of slides off to the side. Rushmore Revenge is the next entry and opens with Mount Rushmore covered in graffiti reading, quote, "The U.S. government can fund mass murder if it's labeled as a national monument. Every day, executions occur in over 2,600 American landmarks. The blood of liberty will be avenged. The souls of Lincoln will be freed. And I will introduce infection next week, Monday through Sunday, 10:12 to 10:13. Watch the symptoms." The National Parks Service set out to document who was leaving the messages and recorded the monument, which captured mysterious noises and lights before revealing that the heads were seemingly growing long tendrils. Alcatraz Attacks then opens with the subtitle, "An Alcatraz Bay Area mentioned." Alcatraz Island, 2 days before therapy. And then it shows a drawing of the island with a series of structures on it, including, of course, West prison, various little buildings on there. And then drawings of a cell, and talking like biology type cell. We got a nucleus, we got the mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell, all inside the prison, right? The footage then clips back to footage of the island, quote, 1 day before therapy now. And then we return to the drawing of the island where we see cell division, which I think mitosis is what's going on, occur within the prison. We return to the island to see radiation therapy day 1. And we see a chart demonstrating that Alcatraz turned and ran straight into San Francisco, seemingly wiping the city out over several decades. The video closes with the same footage of Alcatraz before revealing that Alcatraz is duplicating exponentially. Cut to black. The title card explains that the Alcatraz zone now extends to West Texas. So if you're in the West Coast, if you're in the Western states,
Welcome
Mountain
to
Time Zone as well, you're in the Alcatraz zone, baby. The next one is a break from actual monuments with a Dean Democracy, and we learned that James Dean, acclaimed died young hunky actor, was America's 37th president and elected on the platform of ending the Vietnam War. James Dean ran against Richard Nixon and charmed Nixon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of James Dean in this, and I think Manticore is James Dean is a through line through various. It's all kind of the same, similar universe, but
oh my god,
James Dean comes up a lot. James Dean ran against Nixon and charmed Nixon so much that Nixon said publicly that he was going to vote for James Dean. Dean blew Nixon out of the water in a landslide election, and then James Dean went on to be a rad as hell president, despite the protests of a growing evangelical movement called the Anti-Deaner Association, who said he was the devil. The next, right? Hate to see a hunk in power. It's the himbos rise up.
My God.
Yeah. The next entry is Air Force One Angel, which describes a mysterious unmanned flight by Air Force One, or seemingly unmanned flight, to national monuments where the plane dropped off packages. It dropped them off at Mount Rushmore, Alcatraz, and Statue of Liberty. Nobody knows what was in the packages. It looked like there was some sort of like angelic figure flying it when it landed, finally. Lincoln Looker describes people being forced into the statue of Lincoln at the Lincoln Memorial, kind of like a brazen bull, but I guess more chill. You kind of just have to look out of Abraham Lincoln's bronze face. And the president has the power to choose any person in America to take on this task, and they have to do it for as long as the president is in office. So might be grosser than the brazen bull. We're coming back to the pee-pee poo-poo issues where you're just trapped inside of a bronze statue for 4 years, and they feed you gruel through the mouth. So
yeah, samosa.
Not great. I wouldn't recommend. It seems like a punishment. Washington Wormhole is the next one, and it opens up with a poem. The forest fell swiftly as the lumberjack swung, except for the special tree, which could not be stung. She missed her friends and the hymns they sung, so she started a tune that broke the man's lung. Then we get a timeline of the, quote, special tree, which looks a lot kind of like a worm, kind of tentacle-ish. And we're told about the construction of the Washington Monument to house the said special tree. The Washington Monument singing became part of the attraction, although it is also revealed, much like the poem, that the song is capable of harming visitors.
Oh.
We see then another message written on the monument. The infection is nigh. The music of Washington will end. And finally, we see footage of the monument getting flaccid and like, and then shooting out electricity. And we're told that 19 missing visitors were found unconscious inside of the base of the monument. Delaware double. Yeah.
It's been nasty so far.
It's been nasty. It's some nasty shit. We just getting started though. Delaware Double is about two fishermen, one named Michael Tillon, finding the partially frozen body of George Washington in the Delaware River. But he's still alive, and he's George Washington. But he's like, where am I? Who are you people? What did you do to the slaves? Why are they walking? Like that kind of thing. Yeah. So but it's also like people. I thought he died.
He's a vampire. He's been sleeping
dead.
like periodically every 200 years.
It's possible. He's been hibernating a little bit.
Yeah.
Rockefeller tree tragedy comes up next and tells the narrative from two perspectives. A recollection of the tragedy by John D. Rockefeller, not to be associated with the Jay-Z Rockefeller.
John B. Rockefeller.
John B. Rockefeller, different guy. And Virginia in Wonderland by Virginia, who appears to be a child. The story, as told by John D. Rockefeller, is that he decided to get a Christmas tree for his exploited workers to liven up Rockefeller Center. Virginia explains that JDR had a hard time finding the right tree until he finally found a very special tree. It took 3 years and presumably many lives, but eventually JDR managed to get his workers to dig out the special tree. They tried cutting it down, wouldn't work, nothing else worked. They just had to dig it out eventually. JDR sets up that this led to a disaster, and Virginia describes her experience seeing the tree brought to Manhattan. Virginia, as a child, wanted to put a star on the top of the tree and gathered her friends to help her do so. But the tree bent over and created an arc, shooting out lightning and striking all of the children. Virginia found herself in a forest full of special trees, waking up and seeing that her friends were injured on the ground all around Rockefeller Center, but things looked different, and there was no longer a special tree in sight. John D. Rockefeller explains that, well, no one died. Something actually kind of stranger had occurred. And Virginia tells us that she wound up in a hospital, but that her parents seemed like different people, and they didn't recognize her. In fact, all of her friends' parents seemed different. John D. Rockefeller showed up at the hospital and asked the children questions about American history, but everything they said was wrong. They didn't even recognize that John D. Rockefeller was the president.
What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, what is going on? It's a good question. All will be revealed, kind of.
Kind of. You know that question that you have? It's not going to get answered.
Yeah, you gotta just go along for the ride on this one. The children were all X-rayed, and it seemed like even their internal organs were backwards and in the opposite place than you'd expect. Canyon Crown is a big tonal shift. Changes the overall gramophone and black and white PowerPoint presentation slides vibes with a Windows Movie Maker extravaganza, complete with copyright-free music, and it documents a family trip to the Grand Canyon.
Okay, I was going to ask how it was spelled.
Yeah, Canyon.
I heard Kenyan.
Yeah. Sorry. Oh, no, not Kenyan.
Okay.
Yeah. But naturally, there's something strange going around the canyon. It's called a canyon gallon or a canyon crown, and it looks like a headless person. And apparently, it uses vinegar to shrink their grotesquely large heads into non-existence. So they kind of, little shrunken head corpse, walking corpse guys. Freedom Faller is next, and it's about the process of designing and placing the Statue of Freedom on top of the Capitol Dome in D.C. During construction, the statue seemingly murdered the sculptor and stole his eyes, stole his body parts, and stuffed them inside of him. The sculptor's daughter, through a miscommunication, and thinking that it might have been her dad, decided to follow the statue and was kidnapped by the statue as it was transported from Italy to the U.S., and then it ran up the Rock of Gibraltar. The statue seems to have killed the daughter and stolen her bits as well, and was kind of low-key giving Saddam Hussein hiding spot, hiding inside of a cave, but eventually was found by the authorities and dragged to the U.S., where it was placed on top of the Capitol building. And we're told there, some people are like, man, no, that shit might wake up again, though. And eventually, anti-Deaners fuck it up. They decide to storm the Capitol. If you can imagine a right-wing group deciding to do that.
That's like, I don't think
It wouldn't happen
that's never
in our
happened before,
reality,
so
obviously. It's not like a thing.
don't manifest it.
No.
Be careful with your words, man.
I think this came out before, too. So it's like, And the official story is that they shot down the statue, but it seems more likely that the statue dropped down and just absolutely shredded through them and just like, it's got a sword, and it's just like chopping through motherfuckers. Just like, bah, bah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And then that's it for season 1. Yeah.
What the fuck?
So you got a feel for what's going on yet?
In the sense that, like, you've told me some stuff that has happened, but I don't think I know where I am anymore as a human being.
That's fair.
The last sentence that I wrote down is new sentences I ain't never heard before.
Yeah. So like, things are going on. At this point, I think you're picking up that there's some kind of hop in between. Maybe universes or dimensions, right?
Yeah.
That's like a major theme, is like different alternate, places where history was different.
Yeah. Like James Dean.
James Dean was president, John D. Rockefeller.
George
Mysterious
Washington.
George Washington back from the dead. Or Seaman Chill. And a statue that can kill people. Well, I guess multiple things that can kill people.
So far, the statue that is my favorite, or in a sense, kind of like, what the fuck, is definitely the Lincoln.
Just being shoved inside Lincoln statue.
And the fact that like it's like everyone, here's the 4-year sacrifice. You just are in there. You are in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What would you do for your country? Ask not what you can do for your country. Ask what
the country's going to put you inside of
Abraham Lincoln. Somebody's got to be in there.
Oh my god.
Otherwise, what's the point of having a Lincoln statue?
Like a memory. That one is the Alcatraz thing. Definitely, like close to home. I used to see it every day for like 3 years straight. Yeah. So, but if you told me like the Alcatraz started like doubling, splitting cells, just multiplying, I'd be like, you know what?
Yeah.
Good for her. But the Lincoln one is definitely the one that's kind of just like, why inside? Not like sitting on him, but inside of him.
You'd rather just have somebody sitting on Lincoln's lap.
Yeah, because that's like
Santa type deal. Yeah.
For 4 years, you don't leave them. Yeah. You get to see the outdoors. You get to breathe a little, but you don't get to leave Lincoln's lap.
No, that's the rule.
This is great. This is
your legs just atrophy as you're just stuck on Lincoln's lap.
Yeah. So this has been just some sentences that I've never heard put together before.
That's fair. There's gonna be more of those.
Awesome. Awesome.
Because there are 2 more seasons.
Season 1 has been fucking crazy.
Yeah. And then, there's a brief hiatus, and then triumphant return. Season 2, Monument Mythos, opens up with Corner Girl. Corner Girl, as you may have picked up from the name, is kind of a return to the corner folk, the interdimensional traveler concept of the first video. This is a retcon where we get a message, seemingly from a corner folk, who shows us a woman's body lying on the ground and describes it as luggage. We're all just luggage, really, and we can be brought through dimensions, but sometimes, look, luggage gets lost. It happens. Like, you get a little folded up, shit happens. Yeah,
okay.
But that kind of explains the folding of the internal organs. They're just like, brought you with me. You're a suitcase. Maze Movie Maker is up next. It opens with a retro commercial for Maze, which is basically the Apple kind of Silicon Valley tech company of the Monument Mythos world. And they're advertising their super fast computer, Popcorn Prime, which has a startup time of just under 60 seconds, which is pretty speedy. were then brought into a map showing the spread of maize production plants and how they grew throughout the 1960s from the first plant in, they say Silicon Valley. It looks like Stockton on the map, I would say. Definitely Inland Bay. And then it creates a sine wave east across the country to the East Coast, kind of finishing off in New York.
Yeah.
This is followed with information about a mandatory recall of the popcorn prime following an outbreak. What is the outbreak? We're not totally sure. Then we get more history on the rise of maize and President James Dean's contributions to computing. Much like our world, tech was always funded and supported by the Department of Defense. And Mays created a system to control the true forces of mass destruction with a project called Project Horned Serpent. Mays was seemingly attacked by dark forces, and following the outbreak, all personal computers had to be shut down. Until Mays announced the creation of Mays Movie Maker. And you know what we're saying? You know what we're saying? Like 20 years after they all got to get shut down, Maze is back on the menu, boys. Then we are given a tour of the Maze facility. It's covered in more graffiti, warning of connections between all the monuments and the growth of the military-industrial complex. The video proceeds to show below the factory and a network of caves underneath it. And inside of the caves, there is seemingly some kind of electric slime. And it appears that the name Project Horned Serpent could be more literal, because we're seeing some strange things down there. Suez Canal crab is a follow up here,
God.
And this is when we're going international. This one, it breaks down the ship, the Ever Given, becoming stuck and blocking the Suez Canal. So this was a very timely episode. I think that had just happened when this episode came out, and the solution was obvious to our great president Hillary Clinton, dropping a nuke on the ship.
That would not go bad at all.
It had to be done. You know, like girls, they get stuff done, dog. Come on.
Who run the world?
The force. Yeah, girls run the world. That's how it works. The force of the nuclear blast was enough to remove the blockage, but then the ship disappeared. And then the ship was spotted walking around through Egypt. And it turns out that basically the ship had been taken over by a giant hermit crab that was using the Ever Given as its shell. Okay. So Hillary Clinton floated the idea of using another nuke, but then she decided that the goal should be more kind of containing and controlling the movement of the crab through a series of barricades. Unfortunately, the crab had other ideas and wound up going straight for Cairo.
Okay.
We got to some news footage of people talking about the Cairo Tower. And then there's the discussion of a stampede as people crowded the tower to watch the crab. Unfortunately, oh my God, a crab hit the tower. And the crab killed 100 or 1,100 people, crashing into the tower.
And second crab.
Second crab in the second tower. There's only the one crab. Yeah. The Egyptian military. I was expecting a second crab to be involved.
Yeah, you said the tower, and I said, "Are we going to get a second crab?"
You would expect so, but this is a little subversion of expectations there. Unfortunately, the Egyptian military decided to quarantine the area because there was like crab goo and shit, and dead bodies, and the shipping containers were still on the ships, and they were like crushing people, and it was all fucked up, right? Mm-hmm. Not a great situation. And then theories began to circulate online that the disaster was caused by the proliferation of new intelligent devices. Specifically, they were called Twitter machines, spelled even more annoyingly, and they were spelled TWTTR, which,
fuck a vowel.
Good dig. Fuck a vowel. A lot of this hype was driven by a group called the Anti-Device Association. Another ADA has entered the chat. The Twitter machines were being transported on the Ever Given, and a movement rose for Americans who had ordered their Twitter machines. I paid for that shit, goddammit. They got to go to Egypt, and we got to go to the no-go crab zone, and we got to get back what's ours, right? So we're setting up kind of a cargo cult meets Black Friday situation where Americans are like, we're going there. We're getting our shit back. Fuck them Egyptians.
Oh, God.
The Americans, they make it to Cairo and they start looting the shipping containers, but then this quickly turned into a bloodbath because the Americans could not help themselves, and it turned into a mass shooting event because they brought their guns. And then, it's like everyone's looting and trying to get shit, and the Egyptian government is just like, all right, you fuck around, you find out, you guys are stuck in the quarantine zone. We're not letting you guys out. You guys are stuck in there. And then 11,000 Americans died. In the purge going on in the trying to get their shit, trying to get their phones. 900 survived, and many survivors claimed it was due to their decision to worship the crab. The crab protected them. The Church of the Ever Given began soon after. And soon after we get our next episode, we're going back in time to a better time. The time when this country was great. Gene Disaster comes next, the story of America's worst television hijacking. The television hijacking was done by anti-Dean radicals. Again, these guys just can't keep fucking around with shit. They took to the airwaves and decided to spread their propaganda that James Dean was the Antichrist or something like that, right? The hijacking was followed by another hijacking of the National Air Raid siren system, which led to mass panic and more crowd crushes as people attempted to run to air raid shelters. Traffic jams began to form, and then people left their cars running in the streets, and this led to increases in carbon monoxide. Eventually, we basically turned the bomb shelters into sad people's garages, right? People were just dropping out into bomb shelters because there wasn't enough air. President Dean mobilized the military to shut off the cars and figure out who had started the sirens. So I'm just hearing action. I'm hearing the guys get shit done. But the sirens were so loud that they were killing technicians as they approached, leading to kind of an ant style climbing over one another's bodies as they tried to reach the sirens to just cut the cord or whatever. President Dean selflessly turned off a nearby siren, but he lost his hearing in the process. Knowing that the nation still needed leadership, he selflessly gave a public address explaining that the sirens and hijacking were done by the Anti-Dean Association, and he called for a mass re-education effort of the ADA members. ADA members were housed in facilities near national monuments, but many people that passed through the re-education camps came out kind of better adjusted and better members of society after. So much so that there were actually demand for the re-education camps grew, and people wanted to go and get their lives right. And then President Dean had to return to the airwaves to explain that, if you can't just get it, not everyone can be in prison camp, guys. Some of you guys need to work, you need to do jobs. I know it sounds dope, but yeah. Meanwhile, Mays offered a specially produced hearing aid for President Dean, and it worked so well that it inspired him to open the U.S. Department of Technology to further the partnership between the U.S. government and Mays. Dean and his Department of Technology went through an unprecedented and dangerous experiment in socialized medicine, which is close call, but it seems like things didn't go too wrong. And they made the hearing aids available for all Americans for free because a lot of them were deaf following the whole air raid siren thing. Next up, we have Starry Sphinx, which opens with footage of the statue and giver of Riddles 3 moving along the Martian landscape. Through a voiceover, we learned that the pyramids and the Sphinx were also classified as true forces of mass destruction, and that there was a American-led excavation of the pyramids and the Sphinx. We also get some mention again of the special trees, those mysterious special trees, and that ancient Egypt had a social role called the Guardians, who were tasked with smacking the shit out of the trees so that they would not grow and had to direct their energy to recovery. We also learned that the pyramids of Giza, and probably the Tower of Cairo, were built to house special trees, much like the Washington Monument. And it's implied that the pyramids might be real deep as well. The reveal is that the Sphinx has dropped out of space and is duplicating in much the same way as Alcatraz as it enters our atmosphere. Yeah. But then we learned this video was produced by the Anti-Device Association. Oh, shit. Following up on the Sphinx core, we have Giza Guardian, which opens with news footage of the starry Sphinx over the desert. Then it cuts to someone explaining the history of the strange lightning, quote unquote, and the occurrence of Giza glass, which is formed by when these strange, mysterious kind of otherworldly lightning from the special trees or the Sphinx hits the desert. And the Giza glass has some strange properties. For instance, if you cut off the body part with a glass, it will cut off the body part, but it will still be functioning. So it's still you can still operate. Some of the Giza glass was taken by the British. Classic. Can't help themselves. Can't teach an old dog new tricks. And it gets into U.S. envoys, including President John D. Rockefeller. The glass was turned into large blades and given to guardian statues in the Grand Canyon. We learned that there was a connection between these guardian statues and the Statue of Freedom that was once on top of the U.S. Capitol, and that the sculptor who made the Freedom statue and he was not murdered by the statue. He actually decided to cut himself into pieces and put himself into the statue, and also put his daughter into the statue with him. And then we also learned that the Statue of Freedom, following killing all the ADA people, was moved into the Grand Canyon. And then we learned that there's a lot of people go missing in national parks, right? A lot of people go missing in the Grand Canyon.
I've never heard that before.
No, it's fine. It's just nature. Don't worry about it. It's okay. There's not like the what is it? The murder zone in like Yellowstone. It's like a place where it's like there's like 3 or 4 different the states meet together, right? Like Idaho, Wyoming, and Montana, right? And they're basically just like, we don't really know whose jurisdiction this is, so I don't fucking know. So yeah, no, it's cool. It's all good. But anyway, we learned that the missing people in the Grand Canyon are probably either being harvested or added to the statue, or that's what the canyon grounds are. There are people that are getting their heads cut off by the Statue of Liberty or the Freedom Statue. Fallen Father is the next video, and it returns to our classic Windows Movie Maker aesthetics. As we see a video about a squirrel over a text, which makes it clear that this is a video from a child to their father who has passed away, Nathaniel Arnoldson. And then we get a sad little notice that this is also when Eve's father had passed on as well. So R.I.P. to the king. Rockefeller Revelation comes next, and we open with a recording of President Rockefeller's reaction to a German war blimp being named after him. Then he discusses the crowns in the Grand Canyon, and we learn that they are the remains of people killed by the Giza glass. And they're also, look, I mean, it's John D. Rockefeller. Look, he's got, you got to think about the bottom line here. It's pretty good for slavery. You can just kind of make these bodies work, right? Bodies, no heads. Come on. What are we going to do? Not make them work? The Germans also were pretty into this idea of free labor, and they were like, "Hey, Rockefeller, hook us up with some of them bodies." Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, no problem, fam." And he gave them the crowns, and then the Germans started making these war blimps, which were powered by crowns. And then Rockefeller kind of reflects on how this and the tree incident managed to ruin his reputation, his otherwise perfect reputation. It's a good guy, cool dude. And we learned that he mysteriously disappeared from an underground bunker that was seemingly broken into with a heat ray. So unclear what was going on with him there. We can only hope that happens to some other people. Washington Wonderland picks up from the tree incident video with a later account from one of the girls who was transported 3 dimensions. It's Virginia again, Virginia Fate Arnoldson. Arnoldson remembers the space between spaces of dimensions and the special trees, which seemingly connected one after another like a infinite set of mirrors, right? It's going like root to tip, kind of forever, right? Arnoldson met another man in the strange forest, and for seemingly years, they were lost and wandered through this strange place, sometimes apparently flashing from one place to another. Then another flash occurred, and Virginia found herself alone and back in New York City. Years later, Virginia felt drawn to the Washington Monument, and she was pregnant and was dropped from the elevator and crashed into the ground, becoming one of the Washington absentees that were eventually found at the base of the monument. But when she reawoken, she was no longer pregnant. So, who knows what was going on
what
there?
Fuck.
Yeah. Air Force One Fallen Angel is next, and it revisits the Air Force One Angel from the first season, the unmanned flight that went around the country to various monuments, and we learned that the United States is fractioned into 3 zones. There is Washington, Rushmore, and Alcatraz, right? And then we're given a new message from the formerly Anti-Dean Association turned into the Anti-Device Association. And now the advocates for the division of America, who hope to splinter the country into 1,000 parts. It'll never happen. It'll never. This country is too strong.
California will never be able to secede.
It'll never secede. No, think of that. They plan on doing this with the help of their fallen angel, which they found at the tomb of the unknown soldier. The fallen angel is apparently the one who lifted Rockefeller. And the next target of the fallen angel is the horned serpent beneath the earth. So, horned serpent confirmed. It's real. It's underneath us. Get him. Liberty Lurkers opens with a recording from some fucking French dude who designed the Suez Canal. Some design. You fucking dig a hole.
So you can dig a hole.
Well, yeah, I could design a canal. Okay, like it's like fucking the whole. It's a pipe, right? It's like a ditch. I'm not impressed.
Get over it.
He was actually forced to do so by the president of the United States. I think I didn't write who it was. It was Grover Cleveland. It wasn't one of the fun ones. It was something. And Grover Cleveland was told to do so by a mysterious underground being which spoke from beneath the earth. And then we get another notice from the ADA called "The Sinking Man and the Forbidden Fruit," which shows a person near a tree, and then they fall beneath the tree, and then it turns into another tree, and then it's another tree, and then so on, and infinite trees. We get more information on the design of the Statue of Liberty and its massive pedestal, and we learned that this too was asked for by the mysterious horned serpent. Yeah. We then see footage from beneath the pedestal and see that there are the trees seemingly duplicated forever again. And then I'm seeing some confusion on this. We're at the end of season. This is the last one of season 2. Alcatraz Apocalypse is the final video of the Monument Mythos season 2. And it opens with Arnoldson family video and the reveal that 2 more of the Arnoldsons' remains were later found in the Grand Canyon. And remember, we saw them on a trip to the Grand Canyon the first season. Then we get the final broadcast of the New Delaware Journal, the same network that covered the George Washington doppelganger story. And the broadcast says that Alcatraz has successfully duplicated the entire country and everyone in it. Everyone has been lost and replaced with a replica, according to the newscaster. So it's kind of a ship of Theseus thing. We're all new, but are we all the same? Who knows? We next see some more graffiti left on the Lincoln Monument. The advocates were deranged. They all are ashes now. We will never be weapons again. Leave us alone or join the ash pile. The video describes Operation Thunderbird, which was a plan to capture the Statue of Freedom, which was currently going nuts, chopping people up in the Grand Canyon, and to use the Statue of Freedom to battle the fallen angel of the ADA. We see some clips of what appears to be a series of trees floating in the sky, and are told that the survivors of the Great Division came to be known as the Corner Folk. Yeah. And that's it. But then, don't worry, 3rd season, things are gonna kind of make sense a little bit more. Kind of. Ish.
They're survivors of what?
The Great Division.
My.
Yeah, there's a lot. This is really kind of like Charlie Day, bulletin boards and yarn situation here. The third season, thankfully, has all been put into one video, and the chapters divide the individual entries in the series. So we start off with Washington. Well, let me check in with you, season 2. How do you feel about this? Anything else? New reveals, new things?
At this point, I was expecting all the strangeness, so there was more of a headache in terms of like thinking of like how how American culture really persists in stories, no matter what. It's like sometimes it's like, what is it, like the average American, blah 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 blah, and then you're kind of like, hey, but you're also like, yeah, we are sort of recognizable.
We kind of like that, huh? Yeah.
You will always be able to see us in some form. Like, I know that I'm raised by Filipinos and that I tend to act that way, but sometimes it's like, I am still an American.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not helping it, unfortunately.
Yep. But yeah. I did, what did that hearing aid business. Listen, as someone who is hard of hearing, free access to hearing aids would be so sick and so dope. But also, I kind of don't trust the freeness of it. You know, I'm like, what it costs?
Very, very American of you as well. I don't want free healthcare. This seems fucked up. What are you gonna do to me?
They're gonna implant in my hearing aid.
Oh yeah, gonna take over my head. Huh? You're trying to get in my head, trying to fuck me, huh?
Yeah, through my ears.
Through my ears?
It's just like, okay, so like, what if I'm asleep, right? And then like every time I'm sleeping, okay, I would take off my ears, obviously, but like, what if I'm just like in idle mode and then it starts whispering at
me? Yeah, it's possible. It's telling you to do stuff.
Yeah, so like, I turn it off or I take it off, but what if it's still like capable of whispering at me?
Right, you get like activated.
Yeah, like are they like implants? Because then I would still have like the magnet in my head, but then like, what if they put some secret thing in the magnet? So like,
true. Yeah, it's a concern. You can't trust the government.
I'm okay with not hearing all of the time. You know.
Yeah, it's if the options are either trusting government healthcare in the U.S. or being partially hard of hearing.
Yeah, everyone repeats things when they see that I am confused. So people have navigated that for me.
Yeah, there you go. People will adjust. Yeah. It's all right. Yeah, I feel it. I'm not.
But that was
great at hearing shit.
That was the one that really got me, and also the Sphinx. And the geese of glass. That's fair.
I like the canal crab one. I feel like that one doesn't fit as much with everything else, but I like kind of cargo cult, Black Friday.
Yeah, it's like the silly thing, the worship the crab thing of like a tendency to like form around like a thing and begin to worship it for what it's done for you.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, very very much about it, like our consumerism and stuff. I like that. Yeah. Anyway, season 3. Bringing it home. Ready for this? All right. Washington Wanderer opens up with some fucking old dude saying, "Remember me for Virginia, for America." There's really good voice acting in a lot of these. They actually do like have voice actors, which is nice. And then we're told that the Horned Serpent and the Special Trees fell silent in 2022 before switching to a different song. They changed it up. Then we cut to a message from a journalist who says he was able to gain access to the maze servers and that he discovered that Wonderland, which is Virginia's term for the place between dimensions for the Special Trees, keeps copies of everything. And one of the explorers of Wonderland was killed by a copy. So almost entering Mandela catalog stuff here. We got copies, we got duplicates. But then we get some footage of the now destroyed Washington Monument with a figure posed on top and the question, who is the Washington Wanderer? The next video, Monument Mythology, comes to us from the Dean Museum of Natural History and presents a history of the Horned Serpent. So we're finally getting to hear a little bit more about this. We're told that in the beginning, after the end of the last universe, there were only 2 entities, tree and Serpent. Eventually, Serpent decided to create a universe, laying world eggs, god eggs, and plant and animal eggs, which created trees and serpents. More trees and serpents. Right? Trees and serpents all the way down, pretty much. There was a goddess of chaos named Entropis, who ran shit. She ruled over the pantheon of success, time, emotion, and death. Chaos was eventually decapitated by lightning in Egypt, and her head was used by the serpents to trick the gods and humans to think that she was still alive. The serpents tricked the humans into killing the gods and using a statue made from the glass left by the lightning. The serpents also tricked the gods into giving them the power of chaos, and then each serpent eventually went their own way and one made its way to Earth, and continues to grow beneath the Earth's crust. Angel Ashes shows a blue figure descending to the ground. It's maybe the most vapor wavy entry. We kind of get some Greco-Roman statue heads, and then the blue figurine begins to glow, and everything turns the whole screen kind of Dr. Manhattan light blast style. And then the angel speaks, and we hear that the angel has broken down, so that its particles and ash could change the fabric of time, possibly giving the angel the freedom it wanted in life. Next up, we have Musk Mars, and we get an epic sauce video of our memer in chief on Mars, and we're told that he built a monument on Mars and collected some Martian glass. And then we see an interaction between Musk and Twitter users, which show that across the multiverse, most people still hate him, but the dick riders are still there as well. Musk then decides to nuke the Martian ice caps for some fucking reason, and releases another serpent from inside of Mars, which begins its trip to Earth. After Angel explains the conflict between the angel and the Statue of Freedom in the forest, so the Air Force One angel shifted its ashes through time from the future to the past before asking the statue to kill it. The statue in turn cut its head off with a piece of glass. Then Golden Gate Girl opens with a call between a person named Howard Melrose and Eunice Dean. Yes, relation. Okay. Before she decides to jump off of the Golden Gate Bridge, which again, don't do that. You'll die. It's not good.
Don't do it.
We can attest, not a good thing to do if you want to stay alive.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Get help. We then get a call where the grief-stricken James Dean, calls Monty Clift, the head of the CIA, and requests that who's the head of the CIA? Fucking yes, these fucking people, these names. Monty Clift, and requests that Monty Clift run for president, and then Cathodonotic, his names are getting wild now, tells us about the mission to determine the rate of the American Wonderland syndrome in the Martian serpent. We learn that there is some connection, as Cthulhu was trapped in Wonderland and eventually found a small child, and he was protecting her before he eventually succumbed to American Wonderland syndrome, which is basically where the trees kind of turn you into a distorted monster. We learned that the little girl was Virginia Arnoldson, whose story we've been following throughout this from her perspective, and that Cthulhu is the person who the journalist at the beginning of the season was talking about, who was killed by a duplicate. We also learned that the American Wonderland syndrome is what turned George Washington into the Horned Serpent.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Dean Devil opens with a warning about Howard Melrose, the person who was talking to James Dean's daughter before she decided to take her own life. And we're told that he is a dangerous fugitive who can kill with the power of his voice. He can't. Then we get a call from a special agent with the CIA letting Dean know that they've located Melrose, and he's like, "Hey, don't go after revenge on this guy." Showing a callous disregard for California geography in this episode. We're told that Melrose has left on a flight from LAX, and then we see the flight is clearly leaving from like San Francisco. And it seems that, anyway, James Dean and Howard Melrose were, I guess James Dean was flying to go get revenge, and he crashed his plane into the plane with Melrose, I guess intentionally. I guess that was his revenge, was a double, a plane head-on collision. Yeah, killed himself and everybody on board.
Vengeance.
Sometimes you gotta get it, you know? It's like, gotta have it. And then we hear from Cthulhu A, who tells Melrose and Dean, he's like, you guys are fucking idiots. Don't do this shit again. Stop with this shit. And he's like, boop, back in time. Cliff's Chaos starts out by talking about the construction of the large platform underneath the Statue of Liberty, or near the Statue of Liberty, sorry. And rumor begins to spread that a massive bomb would be detonated on the island, and New Yorkers decided to leave the city. The rumor turned out to be true, but the explosion did not claim any lives or destroy the statue. We then get a clip from Cthulhu A, who is still chewing out Dean and Melrose. He's really just like, you fucking morons, what did you do? Why would you do this? You know, that kind of thing. It seems like he wants to bring about the conditions where he no longer exists. We're in the home stretch now. Penultimate episode. I know there's a lot of threads going on here. I promise I'm not going to wrap any of these up better than the show does. You know. Penultimate episode is called Arnoldson Alone, and we get the story from Cthulhu C, aka Everett, who recounts his experience in Wonderland with Virginia. He remembers being pulled between realities by the trees and being sent into the abyss before entering Earth, but seeing in the sky the Mars serpent and knowing that he was still pretty fucked. Also, he was like a monster now because of the whole syndrome thing. Mm-hmm. Finally, ultimate episode, we get Freedom Forever, which shows the battle between Everett and Everett / Cthulhu C, and the Angel and Freedom. It's a three-way battle. We got shit going on here. Freedom and Everett enter the Angel and do like a fusion move. And then they set off all together. They all three of them are formed as one. And then they fuck off to go fight the Martian serpent. The battle results in a new constellation, Manticore, a constellation made up from all who died fighting the serpent. And that's it. That's the end.
You know.
So all gave some gave all. The serpent, the Mars serpent is stopped. That's it. End of Monument Mythos. So we'll get into some kind of analysis, you know, some thoughts on this next episode. But a week after I did my marathon watch of Monument Mythos, I decided to take a test that I found online to assess my comprehension of the material.
Oh my God.
And you'll be happy to hear that I scored 14 out of 22. That's a D. That's a D. Okay. That's not it's a white people A. D? Yeah, it's a passing D. It's like 60. Well, it's like 64, I think, something like that. It's not too. Yeah. Sorry. Look. What do you want from me? I don't know. And look, okay, let me give in my defense. I knew you were gonna give this shit. I have some example questions for you. Maze was founded in what year and by who? A. 1965 by Rob Careers and Rob Watroba. B. 1960 by Rob Careers and Rob Watroba. C. 1965 by Rob Careers and Rob Watrona. D. 1965 by Rob Careers and Rob Watrona. The fuck? How am I supposed to remember this shit? I'm supposed to know this. When did the Delaware Double air on the Delaware River Journal? A. August 17th, 1975. B. August 15th, 1976. C. December 27th, 1976. D. April 2nd, 1977. I'm supposed to remember this? I'm writing summaries here. I'm not taking down everything that say, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that is a passing D then.
It's a passing D. Thank you. I appreciate that. Least favorite type of history questions. I don't like date stuff.
Yeah, I don't. I'm very good at dates.
And so, yeah, like sometimes, you know, whatever, July 4th, 1776, sure, okay, yeah, whatever, that one's nailed into my head. a lot of them are like, like I get the idea of like generally when something happened, and I'm like, okay, close enough.
It's like
right?
month and year.
Yeah, month and year.
Yeah.
Even just years, like not bad. There's a lot of years, like a lot of things have happened in a lot of years.
Lots of things happen. Shout out to everyone who has to in the future learn about things happening from 2020 to whenever, because that is back to back. Congratulations on your passing, D.
Thank you. Yeah. 2025, the year that Big Balls was attacked and brought about martial law into our country.
Lord God.
What a time. What a time. Yeah. Hey. Also, there's in the same playlist, there's something called the Nixon verse. I didn't fucking touch the Nixon verse. I didn't do it. I was like, no, I can't. I don't,
Many would say that about the regular Nixon verse.
Exactly.
The existing Nixon verse that we're in.
I don't want much to do with them. It seemed like there was like the stories from the titles. I was like, you're introducing more new characters. I don't need this in my life. I'm good.
You obviously didn't need that for the quiz.
No, I didn't need that. The quiz didn't come up in the quiz, so I think we're okay. So I think Nixon verse is kind of one of the side analog horror series. So I was like, okay, I think I'm okay. If I'm not, I don't care. Leave a comment. I don't care.
Yeah, as I said in my script, if there's more after I finish, you can all go fuck yourselves. You can borrow that one.
Yes, that's the message. Yeah. Okay. So recap. We both brought about. We've set the stage. Now we can get into our think pieces on the next episode, on the final episode of the series. The series did a fucking number on us, honestly. This was
probably like one of our hardest.
Shit was rough, dude. Yeah, this was not. It wasn't fun. I would say at a certain point, I was like, oh, so much.
Yeah, I was aware that there was a Wendy Goon video that was like 3 hours long, but I thought I won't watch that for this. But also knowing that there's a 3-hour video, I was like, I wonder what Ben's gonna do.
Not 3 hours, I'll tell you that much.
We're on it.
We're on it. We got another hour in us or whatever.
Yeah.
But we'll be back. All right. This episode was written and produced by Ben. For all our sources, Monument Mythos. Just watch the thing. That's it. Don't watch it or don't. You listen to me talk for an hour. You've already had to hear a lot from me, so I'm sorry. All of our music is provided by the very talented Yager Frank. If you like the show, tell a friend. If you don't, share it with an enemy. That's all for now, and we will catch you on the next episode. Bye.